Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bark Night Podcast. So, once again, here we have my good friend Dan Carter. So, Dan, would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself to anybody who has not seen one of our episodes yet?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dan. I'm an ice cream machine repairman from Cedar Point, Ohio. And I've been Pat's friend for many years and happy to come and do the show again with him.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to find some time in your busy schedule with, a working man's job.
Working man's job, yeah.
But, it's good to have you on again. So, for our episode today, we are going to be covering a little bit of Q&A first, and then the main event for this episode is going to be us reviewing the movie Grizzly II Revenge.
We did it.
We did it. We just watched this movie right before we started recording this, so it's as fresh in our minds as it's ever going to be.
Fresh as bear dung in the woods.
For any of the uninitiated, Grizzly II is a movie that was shot in 1983, and it stars Charlie Sheen. It doesn't really star, but Charlie Sheen, Laura Dern, and George Clooney are all in this movie. And they shot it. The movie was shot in Hungary, and then the production ran out of money and confiscated all the footage. Years later, what's that?
The country of Hungary did.
Yeah, the country of Hungary did after the company ran out of money. So all this footage was lost for like years and years and years, and then it was found and released, and in 2020 the movie came out. So we wanted to watch this thing, and so at the end of the episode, that's going to be the main event that we're going to cover is everything about this cobbled together movie that just so happened to have movie stars in it before they were famous.
Yeah. Can't wait. It's going to be
great. I have a lot to say about it, so I'm looking forward to getting into that section. So we are in the beginning of January right now.
Yep.
We had a good year in 2022.
Yeah.
A lot of good things were released. So one of the things I wanted to cover with you, because this is the first time I've seen you since the new year, is what some of your favorite movie soundtracks were from 2022.
Yeah, and when you proposed that question to me, I had a couple things pop in my head. There's one I'm sure is going to be the one you want to talk about, so I'm going to leave that for last. But maybe because it was fresh in my head, I really liked the soundtrack for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which you talked about previously. I watched it last night, and I just think that movie was so surprising, and I think the music of it really tied it all together, and that one's up there for me. And then I would say I enjoyed the score for Prey as well, another one of my favorites from last year. Very good movie. I'm blanking on the third one I was going to say, but the one I know you were going to bring up is The Batman. You want to talk about The Batman?
Yeah, we can talk about it. So, I guess to give you my favorites before we go into that, I'll give you Everything Everywhere All at Once, great movie. I absolutely loved it. The music in it is solid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great soundtrack. There were a lot of great soundtracks released last year. So I really like that one. What was your other one?
Prey.
Yeah. Prey was good. I wouldn't call it one of my favorites, but it is a good soundtrack.
I remember the third one I was going to bring up. It was X. Have you seen X?
No, I still haven't.
Okay. I think you would really like that movie. I think the music in that's very, very good too.
I have been wanting to watch that since well before it came out. When I saw the trailer for it and everything, it's got Kid Cudi in it. Mm-hmm. It's got Maya Goth.
Mm-hmm.
It's got
Brittany Snow.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good. It's a good cast. It looked like a pretty intriguing film, and from what I have heard, it is much better than you actually anticipate it's going to be.
I would say yes. I went in with high hopes, and it still went over them.
So it's solid music along with all that too. So
yeah, definitely one I think you'll like.
Cool. Well, I look forward to seeing that then.
They put out a second one, didn't they?
They did. It's supposed to be a prequel called Pearl.
I thought so.
Obviously, I haven't seen that either.
I haven't read anything about it since it came out.
I actually, when I was so, I didn't. I looked back through a list of the best soundtracks of the year because I didn't want to miss something that, like, was like glaring.
Mm-hmm.
And Pearl was actually on a few of the lists
Was
that I
it?
looked
Okay.
up of one of the best soundtracks of the year. Everything Everywhere All at Once was on a bunch of them too. Yeah, a lot of good stuff out there. So I guess to take it from mine, so I'll start with my three. So I'll start with the last one and move down to my favorite,
Okay.
and
Which is Batman.
that's where it'll line up with yours. So third favorite, I think honorable mention, Pinocchio.
Haven't seen it.
It Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is a true work of art.
Really? Okay.
It is unbelievably good. It's a reinvention of the story, and the music in it is all great.
Okay.
Christoph Waltz is one of the voices in it. It's got a great voice cast, but the music in it, since we're talking about music, I think it should be mentioned that the music is very good.
Okay.
You should watch the movie though.
I have to watch that. That's high on my list.
It's on Netflix, so it's not like you have to go out of your way.
It's so hard to get Netflix. You got to push a button.
I know.
It's tough.
I know you got to sit on a couch. So my third. So this is a movie that I haven't seen, but it was on a lot of the lists. So one day I just took time and I just listened to the whole soundtrack. It's the movie Tar.
Tar.
Yeah, so it's about a composer.
Okay.
It's Tilda Swinton is the main role. Wait, no, Kate Blanchett.
Okay.
Kate Blanchett is the main
Same
role.
thing. It's fine.
Yes. And it looks like it's going to be up for a lot of awards. It seems to be a true story about an orchestra that she runs, and all this the agony that comes with dedication and that sort of story. So the soundtrack to it is great. I will say it's a little tough because they insert pieces of the movie in it throughout because the movie's about making music.
Okay.
So they made music to incorporate into that, but sometimes it's not the full song. You get pieces of them making the song. So every once in a while they'll be like you'll be listening to it and then it'll be like stop and you'll hear part of the scene where like they're like no you have to start all over and they're like early like they're talking about things that gets a little tough. But overall it is a really beautiful soundtrack. Some tracks that stood out to me on it are tracks 16 and 17 if anybody wants to go back there and check those out. It is classical music. I know not everybody's into that. I like it on a nice relaxing day. So tracks 16 and 17, those stood out to me as like fully realized great tracks.
So you just listened to the soundtrack because you knew the movie was coming out?
It was on a bunch of lists, so I was like, I'll check it out.
Tar, it's called.
Tar, yeah.
Okay.
Her last name is Tar.
Okay, I get it now. Why would a movie about orchestra be called about Tar?
Yeah, I forget what her first name is, but it's something
Lydia.
Tar. Lydia Tar. Yeah, so her name's Lydia Tar, and the movie's about her, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Second place, Firestarter. Have you seen the new remake of Firestarter?
No, but I heard it was not good.
It's got Zac Efron in it. It's got a few other people that I don't recall offhand. It is not a great movie.
Okay.
As I'm watching it, I'm thinking like, I don't really remember the '80s one.
Oh, the Drew Barrymore one?
Yeah.
I know I've seen it. I couldn't.
Yeah, I remember the beats of it, like where the story goes and like, the secret government stuff and all that. But I don't really remember. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
That was Drew Barrymore,
I
right?
haven't read it was. It was her when she's like 4 or 5. I haven't read the book either. So going into it, I wasn't that attached to anything.
Mhm.
But, I mean, I do think that it's not a good movie.
No, but the music.
But John Carpenter did the score.
Oh, okay.
And as I'm watching it, he elevates so many of these scenes that you're just like, this is like kind of boring and like kind of like I don't know what direction these people got while this was going on. And like there's a lot of flaws with it. It's not like I wouldn't call it a terrible movie, and I think that's because I'm not attached to the source material whatsoever.
Okay.
I didn't pay for it either, so
Oh, okay.
I'm especially happy about that. If I had paid for it, I might be upset actually. but with all that being said, as you go through it, for it being a very mediocre movie, it is elevated at many points by the fact that John Carpenter really, really nails this score. And as you know, I'm a big John Carpenter fan. I listen to all of his music that he releases on his own. I have them on vinyl. I listen to his stuff sometimes when I'm reading because I think it sets the mood for like horror very well. And yeah, I think that that is my second favorite. Okay, so I guess that just leaves us with the Batman. So where does that line up for you?
I thought the Batman's music was great, and I knew you would love it. So I knew it was gonna be your number one. As soon as you broached the subject to me, I'm like, that's his number one.
It is my number one.
Yeah, the music's very good in that movie.
It's Michael Giacchino.
That's who his name was. I could not.
He did. When I was thinking of my favorite soundtracks, I had to look up whether Spider-Man No Way Home was released in 2022.
Right.
And it wasn't. It was 2021. But he did the music for that too.
Uh-huh.
And that is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say, I think that the music in this it hits so many emotional notes so well throughout the movie. And I listen to this soundtrack all the time.
Oh, I bet.
All right, so for the sake of getting a little bit of his history,
sure.
I looked it up here, and this guy has 157 composing credits.
I don't know if he's in anything.
No, me either. But just to throw a couple of the big ones out there, he did Up.
Oh, fantastic.
Ratatouille.
Love it.
The new Star Wars, and Rogue One.
Rogue One's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, obviously he did the music for Werewolf by Night because he directed that.
Yep.
That was his...
That's why the name was so familiar. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
There's Thor Love and Thunder, which, obviously we didn't like that movie that much, but I don't have anything bad to say about the music in it.
No, just the screaming ghost, but that's not music.
Yeah. He did Jojo Rabbit too, so
right.
I guess he's used to working with
Taika.
Yeah. He also did Bad Times at the El Royale. I really liked that movie.
I did too.
Interesting. But yeah, so there's a lot on here. He did the new Jurassic World movies.
They made a lot of money from those.
They made a lot of money. That's about all you can say.
Yeah.
And he did Doctor Strange. Not the new one. The new one was the guy that did Addams Family and all that. We talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm a huge fan of this soundtrack. I listen to it a lot when I read. Mm-hmm. So like we read Batman comics and stuff. This is the perfect soundtrack to listen to while you are reading something like Batman.
That's a good idea. I haven't really. I guess when I read comics, I just put like my Spotify list on the background and let's just let it roll. But having like a theme's that's a good idea. I'll give that a shot.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on the soundtrack? Is it your favorite?
It probably is, to be honest with you. It's probably the best part of that movie. Like I feel like I'm overly judgmental on that movie, and people think I don't like it. I like the Batman. I do. But I don't think it's as... I don't know how to phrase it. Like, everyone else puts, like, a stratosphere, like, really high up there. I thought the music was the best part. I'll go with that.
The music probably is the best part, but I love the movie. I will say, when we first talked about it, because you saw it around the same time you saw Morbius, and our conversation was you like tearing the Batman apart and hyping the Morbius up.
I don't know if I hyped Morbius up.
It sounded like you hyped. You actually apologized like a week later, if you remember. You were like, "I'm sorry, I did that. I don't know why. I didn't like the movie. Like, I didn't like Morbius. I swear."
Who knows with me? Maybe I was just in the mood. At least I realized I'm like, you didn't like that movie.
I didn't even bring it up either. You like brought it up like randomly, and you're like, "Hey, just so you know, I didn't like that movie. I don't know why I was speaking so positively of it that day."
Maybe I was just getting like review bombed, and I'm like, it's not that bad, but it's that bad.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it. Yeah. I feel like I bring this movie up once per episode.
You don't need to watch it.
I might need to. Well, if there's one movie that I need to watch this year, and it has like if there's one like movie that was torn apart, would you say I should watch Black Adam or Morbius this year?
I like Black Adam better. Like, it's the most generic, cookie cutter, by the numbers superhero movie probably ever made.
With The Rock's as The Rock.
Yeah, with The Rock is The Rock, and it's okay. It's nothing great, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it seem to be.
Yeah, he seems to be getting like torn to pieces in the media right now. It's it seems like every once in a while the media like smells blood in the water with somebody and they're like, oh, get him.
Yeah, they love to crucify anyone for any reason.
Yeah, I mean, and especially you get a chance to do it to The Rock.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, let's do this.
Let's just have a field day.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of unfair things out there about him right now. I don't think he's, I mean, obviously there's a lot of actors out there who always play the same version of themselves.
Mark
and
Wahlberg.
yeah. Okay, so the only other thing I wanted to add on to the topic of the Batman would be that my favorite tracks on it are, so if I'm just reading, I'll just start it to the beginning and play it through. Because it's all very like the theme and a lot of the, just steady beats and whatnot for the first part of it, which are all very good. But tracks 27, so 27 is called Catwoman. And it's super mellow, dramatic. I believe it's what plays when she's like leaving the city, or at least when you think she's going to leave the city. And the other one is track 29, which is called Sonata in Darkness. And that one incorporates a ton of the aspects of the entire album all into one song that's like 12 minutes long. So you get aspects of Catwoman, you get aspects of the theme, you get aspects of like what a lot of pieces that are homages to the old themes and the other themes that are out there. So that is probably the best track on the album. 12 minutes long, so not a small lunch, but, it's really good.
Okay, cool.
The composer of it, Michael Giacchino, he is actually lined up for an in-development project for a remake of the movie Them. Do you know what that movie is?
Them. My brain went right to They, which is not that movie. What's Them?
Them is a movie from either the 1940s or 1950s. That's a black and white movie that is about radioactive ants that grow in size, and it's like giant ants in a desert, and there's like soldiers and all this.
Now I know what you're talking about. I have seen that movie.
I have seen it too. I saw it a lot when I was a kid because it was on one of my favorite VHS tapes. I forget what it was, but I feel like
you just totally dated yourself.
I know. But and it was a recording too, so it was right on that VHS tape of something that I love to watch. So a lot of times it would be like, oh, all right, well I guess we'll
watch this one.
Yeah,
instead of taking it out of the VCR.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of trying to find the remote to turn it to channel 3.
So he's getting the reins to that. That's awesome. I'm excited for that.
It is, and what's interesting is that's an interesting choice for him, and I feel like he probably had a lot to do with that. Disney Plus has a documentary with him that his brother made of him making his first directorial debut of Werewolf by Night, and this will be his first feature film. And he said that it was his idea to do that one.
That's cool.
He said Kevin Feige basically asked him what do you want to do? If you could do one character, who would it be? And he chose Werewolf by Night because he likes the niche, out there things.
I do too. So that's awesome. And They's not going to be a Disney back product, right? It's going to be something else.
No, I would admit. I bet it's like Universal or something. I feel like Universal stands out to me.
Yeah, Disney's not like a Disney movie.
Maybe Warner Brothers, actually. Now that I think of it. But yeah, I mean, that's an out there project too.
That's cool.
Nobody knows what that is. You didn't even know. And you know a lot of movies. Yeah. I only know what it is because of that damn VHS tape. I think I have it on DVD from my grandpa's house too. I just got a bunch of his old DVDs, and I think that was in there too, actually.
The night's young.
Good, yeah. But yeah, so that's all good for me on the soundtrack stuff. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was what is a genre, subgenre, or type of movie that you think we are severely lacking in content for? So just any type of movie that you think there should be more of, basically.
So I think we've kind of covered this recently, and I'm trying not to go like not be like old man yells at the moon, but there have not been nearly enough like straight like comedy movies in like the last like bit of time.
Yeah.
Like, can you remember like a straight like comedy movie that came out that you enjoyed?
So it's funny. I actually just talked about this in my New Year's episode about how I
haven't seen it.
yeah I hadn't seen very many comedies last year, so it was a very short list to choose from. But what I really liked last year was the Nicolas Cage, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
That's a comedy. I haven't seen that. I need to watch that then.
You should watch it.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like there used to be a time where like there was like a tentpole like summer comedy like Wedding Crashers or Pineapple Express or something like that like every year, and there's just not that anymore. And I kind of want more comedy. I think the world needs more comedy. Like, you need stuff to laugh at, other than like, you know, the Marvel movies try to be comedies as well, which we've all they need to stop with that.
Yeah.
So I think very broad stroke, but I think there just needs to be more like comedy movies.
Yeah, I would agree with you. There was that movie from a few years ago, Booksmart. I didn't see it, but did you?
Booksmart. No, I heard of it. I did not see it.
Oh, all right.
It's I'm getting that in like the Lady Bird movie, like confusing my brain. I'm trying to separate.
Was that a comedy?
I don't think so. So that's why my brain's kind of like, that wasn't funny, but I think it just got the two movies confused.
From what I heard, Booksmart was in that same vein as like the Jonah Hill movie. What was that one with McLovin?
Oh, Superbad?
Yeah, it was in like the same vein as that. Like that coming of age high school movie, which I feel like we don't get very much of anymore.
Definitely
you know?
not. I know of that movie. I guess I'll give it a watch. You like that?
I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I was just asking you if you'd seen it.
I have not seen it.
Yeah. Oh, we've never seen it. The Night is Young.
The Night is Young. Full of terrors.
Yeah, but yeah, I completely agree. I don't think there's enough comedies out there.
I would say the last one I saw and I really enjoyed was Game Night, but I feel like that was like 3 years ago now.
I haven't even seen that.
That's worth your time, I think.
Yeah. I think that's the problem too. Is like people haven't been going out to see these things as much.
Point. The whole world shut down for a little bit there, so stuff gets missed.
Yeah. Any other ones?
Well, you brought up they, and I'm sorry, you brought up them. So, and they got my brain going. Let's do more like giant monster movies. Like I know we had Godzilla versus Kong, but they were very much against each other for the last couple movies. Like, have movies like that. Like, have like them, and like have like stuff like that. Like, or like have like aliens come to the planet and like invade. Like do Mars Attacks again. But
I love Mars Attacks.
I do too.
So much. I saw it at the theater, and that movie is so ridiculous.
So I'm just kind of pitching that I want like stuff that's like that, but not. We're so like franchise focused as a society. Like, everything's got to be this 2, this 5, this 6. And like, I know we're gonna talk about movies we're looking forward to through 2023, and like I was looking at them, I'm like, everything's a freaking sequel.
Yeah.
Like, we need more like original stuff. Like, even though I said Mars Attacks, you need something in that vein, like a big monster movie or something new.
I'll say, so Mars Attacks is a wholly original and just brilliant movie.
I love it. Yeah.
That hits on so many different beats. It's got gore.
Oh yeah.
Like, you see people die. In many different ways.
Little colored skeletons, and yeah.
Yeah, but you also see, and like you see like heads get chopped off, and bingers and fingers get bit off.
Yep.
And
Sarah Jessica Parker's face. Yeah, it's
Pierce Brosnan, her head get put on the dog, and Pierce Brosnan being headless too, and Jack Black.
That's right.
Yeah, Martin Short.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, Michael J. Fox,
Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Yeah, movie's crazy.
That movie has such a cast, and I will watch that movie anytime anybody brings it up. If anybody at any moment ever asks me if I'll watch that movie, it's always going to be a yes.
I think I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while.
But like you think of like,
The night's young.
have you seen anything? Yeah. Movie marathon after this. Have you seen any movie though, like since that came out, that is even like that whatsoever?
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like big kind of like disaster movie. Let's just kind of the broad strokes there.
Moonfall, that came out last year, but I didn't watch that and it did not look good.
It did not look good, but I think some people on the internet said it's dumb popcorn fun, which might be exactly what I want right now from what I've been.
Yeah, but I like a little bit of character with my dumb popcorn fun too, because Mars Attacks you could easily say is dumb popcorn fun, but like it's got character, you know?
It's got characters.
So, yeah.
A lot.
Many characters. Getting paid many dollars.
Well, yeah, like other than that, like my brain went to Day After Tomorrow, but that's a natural disaster movie. It's not really any comedy to that one at all.
The Day After Tomorrow, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
I watched that like a week ago. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's still good.
Yeah.
Still holds up.
Other than the CGI wolves. CGI wolves are a little meh.
I don't recall them.
Oh, they're in there for like 2 seconds. So
Yeah.
Not important. But for some reason, my brain's like, that's wrong, and it just stuck.
I'm like watching it too, and I'm like, I wonder if this doesn't make sense.
No.
And then I look it up, and like apparently people made a huge deal about how much sense that movie doesn't make when it came out. But like it's like, come on, you know, it's like you said, it's dumb popcorn.
Dumb popcorn fun.
Yeah. Just let it be.
Let it be.
It's got a message. Listen to the message. The message is global warming. After that, don't listen.
Yeah.
Like
everyone south of this line is already dead.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think we need more of in cinema?
So
general.
I came up with a couple different things. So the first one is that I want more space movies.
Okay.
Specifically, I'd love more space horror. I don't think we ever have enough of it, and I've said it in multiple episodes how much I like certain things that have come out. The one I wanted to talk about very briefly is, have you ever seen the movie Sunshine?
Yeah, love Sunshine.
Sunshine is a great movie. And
Danny Boyle, right?
Danny Boyle, yeah. So he directed Trainspotting, 28 Days Later, Sunshine, other movies that I can't think of.
I know, they've left my head too.
But so that movie is extremely well made, and I remember it got. So I'm gonna touch on some spoilers. This movie is old. This movie is probably like 18 years old, I think, at this point. So
Amazing.
Once your movie can buy cigarettes, spoilers are not a thing I'm worried about.
Chris Evans, just when he was starting, I think.
Yeah. So the cast is Danny Boyle is the director. Then we got Cillian Murphy, Rose Byrne, Chris Evans, Cliff Curtis. You know Cliff Curtis?
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Yeoh. I think I just said her
Michelle
name.
Yeoh's in that? Oh,
Michelle
yeah, she is.
Yeoh.
That's right.
Yep. Hiroyuki Sanada.
Fantastic.
And Benedict Wong is even in it.
Oh, yeah.
Our favorite Wong.
Yes, he is.
And Mark Strong.
I love Mark Strong.
So I don't know if you recall this, but when this movie came out, one of the big things that it did was it released the scenes of everybody dying. Everybody that dies in this movie, they released their death scene in advance.
No.
Bold move. I remember this. I think I was watching these on Windows 95 at the time. Like
a bunch of different windows open.
blim, blim, blim. It's so like I said, spoilers. Every single person in this movie dies. Every character, and you could watch their deaths in the promos leading into this movie.
It's so weird.
It's a bold move. I don't think it worked.
I don't think it worked.
I don't think it's a good idea, but it's a bold move.
Okay.
Go for it, Danny Boyle. If that's what you want to do. So everybody knew that everybody's gonna die going into it, and I think that spoils a lot of.
It's
how you gonna get people to pay for tickets when they know stuff like that, you know?
Come see this movie with Chris Evans. He's gonna die.
Yeah, definitely gonna die. And then another thing that I think was a strike against it at the time was that, like, you know, maybe like 60% of the way through it kind of turns into a slasher movie. Yeah. I counted that against it the first time I saw it. Now I watched this like last year, I think. I think I, as a viewer, am now okay with that, knowing it going in.
Okay.
And I think maybe that it could have done them some favors to not present it as like a 2001 Space Odyssey movie and then give them that.
And then Jason X.
Yeah. So knowing what the movie is and having years and years and years to come to terms with that, I find this movie to be very good. The special effects are amazing. This everything it's got to say about like how like the sun kind of turned a bunch of people into psychos, like very interesting too.
Because they sit out the window and stare at it, right, or something.
Yeah, like Cliff Curtis, Mark Strong, both of them have I think like a it's like a weird thing where they there's like a room where they're able to adjust the transparency of the window. And like Cliff Curtis, like over time, like you can see like he's like peeling more and more because he spends so much time in there looking at the sun because they have the technology to let you look at it. And like if you approach, you're like they'll be like, oh, increase by this much, and eventually the computer's like, if you do that, you're gonna burn alive right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I won't. But I think that's how he dies. Yeah. If I remember.
Or like I think the evil murderer guy pushes the button on him or something. I know someone gets burned by that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I want more of. I want more space movies. I want more space horror.
It's funny you brought up Sunshine.
Yeah, Sunshine, great movie. Another one is winter movies.
Yes.
I think we need more winter movies. We live in an area that is winter. It would be great to be able to watch some like you know I love horror movies, but like winter horror. Winter westerns, winter
Hateful Eight. That's what. Yeah,
the Hateful Eight, The Thing, both of them good in that vein. Ravenous, yes, a lot of that takes place in the winter. Krampus, nice little winter Christmas horror movie.
Did you ever see that one where like it's a foreign movie where there's like Nazis in the snow? It's like Dead Snow, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think it's called Dead Snow. I don't think I did.
It's can't be terrible, but fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it would be cool to have more movies like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's not many. You don't really sell snow, I don't think, but why not?
No, but it's a setting that I guess so. That's what it would be for me. Is I like that setting, and I think there should be more taking advantage of it. The last one I've got, and this is the big one for me, is horror westerns.
Okay.
The only good one that comes to mind is Bone Tomahawk.
No, I love Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
You introduced me to that.
Yeah, it's so good. We got 2 movies here. 3 movies with Kurt Russell. The Thing, Bone Tomahawk, and The Hateful Eight.
Yeah. He's your dude.
Yeah, he is my dude. And he's my dude. I just don't think there's enough horror westerns out there. It's like every once in a while I get the Jonesing for it.
And it's such a good setting too, like because like there's so little resources there. Like, why can't you do like a western where like vampires show up?
Yeah.
Like 30 Days a Night. Not 30 Days a Night, but like vampires come up to a Tombstone or something. Not Tombstone, but a town like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And
like
I think the closest we've ever gotten to that is the John Carpenter movie, Vampires.
Whatever. No, that's the sequel. That was terrible.
That's the sequel. That's terrible. That has Bon Jovi in it. The first one has
James Woods.
Yeah. Not who I would have cast.
Nope.
But
it works. Kind of.
But I do like the movie. I think he pulls it off as well as he's going to. That's the only movie I can really stand him in, except for it's nice watching him getting beat up by Robert De Niro in Casino. But
that's true. You know what? Setting like you said, the western setting and like a horror movie. Why can't they do like a zombie with like the Zombicide game I got?
Well, so and that's I think perfect example.
Yeah.
Like they could have. Zombicide. They're always trying to incorporate it into a movie somehow.
Yeah.
They didn't have any horror westerns to be able to pull into that. They could only pull in
Western
Tombstone and Billy the Kid and all that.
Yeah, like the Clint Eastwood characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Witches in the West.
Yeah.
That's the name right there. Even.
Boom. Copyrighted.
Witches in the West. Wendigo.
Oh, Wendigos would be cool.
Yeah. Werewolves.
You gotta play Until Dawn. I'm telling you.
I know you would love some werewolves in the West.
I would. I could make that movie. Give me $5 million. No, that's probably too little for good werewolves.
Yeah.
Definitely. 50. Give me $50 million, Sony, and I'll make it for you.
I bet you could pull it off with 30.
Give me 50.
Yeah, give me 50. But you even think about westerns, and you've got so there's the whole thing with there's no technology.
No.
whatsoever. If you need to reload a gun to attack a werewolf, you're doing it the hard way.
Yeah.
You're doing it the long way. And there's fires.
Yeah. And how many guns are in that town? Like maybe one gun per household.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, I don't know what it was back then, but yeah, just scarce resources. Not a lot of places to hide.
Everything's candlelit.
Yeah, perfect setting for like something like a werewolf movie, zombie movie, vampire movie. Should be something that Hollywood makes at least one attempt at.
One a year.
One a year. One every 3 years.
I mean, we both really like westerns,
Yeah.
and I feel like the audiences have kind of gotten bored with westerns over time. I think this is the perfect way to bring them back.
Yeah.
Start doing that.
There was that one Tremors sequel. That was a
Yeah, but
western.
that's not.
That's not really. Yeah.
That's not horror. That's comedy.
You're right. Okay. You're right.
There you go, though. There's your comedy.
Yeah. That was like 1998 that came out. But
What is it called? It's called like a Back to Perfection.
Why do I know that?
Yeah.
Don't remember what I had for breakfast, but I remember that.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so that's my thing.
Okay.
All right, so I guess the last thing is now that we're going into 2023, what are you looking forward to?
So there's a few movies because like obviously like every year I look forward to the Marvel movies. I'm very excited to see Ant-Man again on the big screen. I hope they bring Kang in. I need Kang to be menacing and not like throwing jokes, blah, blah, blah. Like I need him to be a big bad. Like I need him to be scary.
Yeah.
And I hope that like it's gonna suck because like Ant-Man's such a lighthearted character. To have him be the one that gets like in my mind needs to get like smacked around by Kang. But that's what I'm hoping for with that. So I'm looking forward to that. Guardians of the Galaxy, I watched the trailer. I am never going to watch that trailer again until I see the movie. I will put my hands over my eyes and go like this because I don't want anything spoiled. I feel like there might be some stuff getting kind of leaked in that. Miss Marvel, or not Miss Marvel.
The Marvels.
The Marvels is coming. I don't know anything about that. Apparently, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau, who was going by Photon probably by this point. Apparently, they keep switching body. Photon.
Sorry.
Photon. Apparently, they switch bodies back and forth the whole movie. Like they'll be like in one place, and the other one switches to the other place, and that's that movie apparently. So the Marvel movies I'm excited for. I'm excited for the Secret Invasion.
The switching body things really worked out for DC, so I'm glad they're trying this out.
Yes, indeed. And then I'm excited for the Disney Plus, the Secret Invasion show. So, like, you know, I'm going to eat all that stuff up. I'll even go see the Shazam movie and the Flash movie when they come out.
I will not go see the Flash. I've already told myself.
Oh, because of the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I probably should boycott that one, too. All right, I'm with you.
All right,
I'm with you. But outside of, like, my usual comic book stuff, I am very excited for John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the new Top Gun. Not Top Gun, oh my God. The new Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Dead Reckoning, Part 1.
Oh, it's a part
I just watched...
It's a Part 1?
It's a Part 1.
Okay.
I just watched Fallout.
It's good.
Just a week ago. And, yeah, it's so good. You know, the scene with Henry Cavill when he's like...
Oh, he locks his arms?
Yeah. He's like reloading his biceps.
Yeah. You're like, I can't be any man. I can't never be that man.
Yeah. He's awesome in that.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I mean, it's long. It's so long.
It's so good.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's great all the way through. And I remember I watched some of the YouTube videos with like the stunt guys that talk about like good and bad stunt movies, and they have said that bathroom scene is one of the best stunt sequences out there.
So yeah, those are my big ones. Game wise, there's a game coming out that I have been paying attention to for a better part of a decade because it's been a development hell on and off for years. And you play Dying Light with me, right? It's the one where you run around and you like.
Oh, Dying Light's the zombie.
The zombie one. You run.
The zombie parkour game.
Yeah, zombie parkour game.
Yeah.
So there was a precursor game to those games called Dead Island.
Oh, really? Those are in the same universe?
Those are in the same universe.
I had no idea.
Well, I don't know if they're in the same universe, but they're developed by the same team.
Ah.
So Dead Island came out first.
So they're spiritual.
Spiritual successor. Dead Island came out. Half the production team left, formed a new studio, made Dying Light. And then Dead Island 2 just got stuck in hell for years and years and years. And it's finally coming out, and I want to play it after like all these years of waiting for it.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to all that. So one that I'm really looking forward to, that I'm excited for, and I hope to God that it's good, is the new Indiana Jones.
Oh yes.
So it's there were some things in the trailer that I'm like, ooh, yeah, like this, like there's a lot of scenes like so you see Indiana Jones riding what's obviously a fake horse through green screen crowds, and then you see, and I'm like, okay, that looks fake because obviously everything about it is fake because I know Harrison Ford's not riding that horse through a crowd right now.
Yeah.
But then you see the same thing with the other guy riding the horse. So I'm like, oh my god, this looks fake too. So I'm wondering if the special effects just aren't finished yet enough. So. But the young Indiana Jones looked good.
They did.
But with all that being said, I'm excited about it because of James Mangold.
Yeah.
James Mangold he's got a proven track record.
Logan.
So I pulled up his IMDb here for a second, just to review real quick how solid this guy is in the way of the movies he's made previously. So we've got only the second movie that he made, Copland.
Oh, I like Copland a lot.
Did you know he directed that? No. I didn't.
I didn't know he directed that.
Girl Interrupted.
Okay.
Which I have actually never seen, but it's been a lot of people like that movie. So, Kate and Leopold, I know it's a favorite of yours.
The what now?
Kate and Leopold. Meg Ryan and Hugh Grant.
Like Hugh Jackman's like a time traveler.
Or Hugh Jackman.
Time traveling Frenchman or something.
Yes, exactly. So that one I just wanted to throw in there because that's funny that like it is the odd man out in this crowd of movies. But after that, like you really see him doing everything that he's good at. So you got the movie Identity.
Okay, I like that.
Great.
I didn't know that was him.
Didn't know it was him either. Walk the Line.
Mm-hmm.
3:10 to Yuma.
Oh, big fan.
Big fan. And The Wolverine, Logan, and Ford versus Ferrari. And there's a couple other things in there. But
did you see Ford vs. Ferrari? Because I have not yet.
I have, and you should watch it.
Okay.
It is a great movie. It is, I mean, it's as good as you're going to get in the way of a movie like that. Christian Bale is doing just as well as he always does. He nails this role. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great race movie, and it's great to watch all these people in it doing their best.
Okay.
It deserved all the recognition it got.
It's one of those ones I put on the list to watch and just somehow snuck through. Yeah. I gotta get to it.
Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I am so disappointed in that trailer. I feel like it showed me the entire movie, and I'm bummed by it.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert for that movie. Don't watch the trailer.
Don't watch the trailer.
It spoils a lot of the movie.
I honestly think the trailer gives you the whole movie almost in sequence. And I hope not. I'm still gonna go see it because it's an Evil Dead movie. Yeah. But
I'm a big fan of the Evil Dead franchise.
Me too, absolutely. Yeah. I wish that they would have let Freddy Alvarez direct.
Fede Alvarez.
Freddy Alvarez, my bad. When I say Freddy?
You said Freddy.
Oh my god.
You said it in the last episode too.
I did it twice. Okay.
Yep.
His name's not Freddy.
Freddie Jackson.
Love Freddie Jackson.
Hey Freddy, why don't you make me another Evil Dead movie? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Just do it, Freddy. Moving
on. Yeah, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Freddy.
I think, I mean, we're in the time of, you mentioned a few of his movies earlier. I think we're in prime Jonathan Majors territory right now.
Creed 3.
Before Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Jonathan Majors was in 3 of the trailers. Devotion, Creed 3, and Ant-Man Quantumania. Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Mm-hmm. So, all of those look awesome. But have you seen Creed?
I've seen the first 2 Creeds. I like them both very much.
Yeah, so I've only seen the first one. I missed the second one, but I'm at the point now where I'm going to watch that just so I can prep for this one. The night is young. But yeah, so that I mean that's all that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
And so it's also for Creed 3. It's Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut.
It is.
Yeah, so that's great. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And as you said, Jonathan Majors, and it was one of those like kind of like a back burner movie, and then like I saw the trailer, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it really looks like Jonathan Majors is going all out in his role for it too. You know, he's bulked up like crazy. You can see that he's acting the hell out of it too. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those two going toe to toe.
And going back to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I don't like the title of that, but I hope he's. I think he can too. Like I think he's gonna bring the scare or like the menace, I should say, not the scare.
What's good about it is that if you don't like this version, you're probably going to see a new version in another movie anyways.
That's true.
Because that's what's going to be great about this is that the version we see in that movie will not be the version that was in Loki, which is not the version that we'll see in the Kang Dynasty.
Nope.
You know, like they've said that we're going to get many, many, many different versions of this character, and I think they picked the perfect version or the perfect person for that.
I agree. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. That's 2023 for you.
2023. Looking forward to it. Hope it's 2022 is good for horror. Hopefully we get some good ones this year too. I know that they're doing an Americanized remake of one of my favorite zombie movies, Train to Busan. And I'm worried that they're gonna ruin it, but I have hope that they won't screw it up.
They said where the train is going yet?
It is The Last Train to New York, I believe it's called, the movie. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's called The Last Train to New York.
That doesn't have a very good ring to it.
No, it does not. But it's...
They should have gone with Train to Boston.
Should have gone Train to Boston.
Yeah. Missed opportunity for them.
Yeah. No, but I hope they don't screw it up, but...
One of these days they'll start listening to my podcast and they'll take our advice on it.
I hope so. And then give us some money.
Yeah. All right, everybody. It's time for our big finale. Now we're going to talk about Grizzly II Revenge.
Electric Blue.
Yes. So here's the thing with the movie. So it was made in 1983, filmed in Hungary. And during production, the production company ran out of money. And because of that, the government was not going to let them keep this movie, so they confiscated everything for it. 1987 rolls around, and a company gets the rights, and basically, I think they bought the footage and everything from the government, and they were going to release this movie in 1987, and then they ran out of money, and so they shut down, and this thing literally just shut out.
It sure did. Sure did.
So this movie sat on a shelf until 2020, until the company finally decided to basically cobble all of this old footage that had never been finished together into a movie and release it. So, 2 years later, Dan and I decided this has been an ongoing, this movie has been an ongoing joke between the two of us.
We watched the trailer randomly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've basically what we took from the trailer is John Rhys Davies just being like, "You got the devil bear," and that was the most memorable thing from it. And so today we finally watched it.
Yes.
So Dan, I'll let you kick us off with the honors of what you think of this movie.
Okay, so the term he used was cobbled. It's not even it is a Frankenstein's monster of a movie that scenes that were shot in 1980 and scenes that were shot in 2020 and clearly of different film stock were just kind of smashed together with like some Adobe paint on top of it and put out there. It is a Frankenstein's monster of a movie, and it is ridiculous, and I didn't hate my time watching it because I got to watch it with a good friend and we got to laugh about it as it was going along. But it is a sight to behold. It is truly something.
It is not a good movie.
It's not.
But I loved it.
Yeah. It is the most B tier. It's a Z tier movie, but it's enjoyable for that reason.
So it's funny you mentioned all of these different shots as you're going through it. So it starts off with these shots, and I'm like, oh man, this looks pretty good. Like the production quality is really good here, but it's because the first couple minutes are stock footage from 2020 that is put together to set the tone for the movie. And then there's even like and so it goes without saying we're talking about spoilers.
Right.
I do not expect anybody to go watch this movie, but I encourage you to, and I think it's completely okay to walk into it with spoilers. So if you want to keep going, I highly recommend it.
I think it's better with spoilers. So you can look for what we're telling you about.
Yeah. So in the main the first scene is like 2020 stock footage of bears.
It's the inciting incident of the movie.
Yeah. And then a CGI bullet goes flying through the air and CGI shoots these bears. Like, so two cubs get shot and it looks so fake.
The bears don't react because they weren't actually shot.
Yeah. Somebody just took stock footage of bears.
CGI'd a bullet going towards them. Did CGI blood splatter. Bears don't react.
And then it cuts away as quick. It's like, don't ask any questions, and then cuts away.
Revenge.
And then there's that shot that they use multiple times in the movie of the bear just like, rah! Like into the camera. And like that time, like it gets shot right here. But then they use that same clip later.
Same clip. Multiple times of the bear going, rah! And in the beginning it just shows like it getting hit in the shoulder with the CGI blood.
The bullet hole's like never there.
Never there. Yeah. So that is what they decided to go with to get this thing out in the open and make money off the fact that George Clooney, Charlie Sheen, and Laura Dern are in the opening scene in the movie playing drunken trail hikers or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to go to a concert.
Yeah.
There's a concert. Everyone's trying to get to this concert. the concert, we'll get there. But that's what they're trying to sell. Is trying to sell like this is George Clooney's first movie. Yes, I guess.
He has top billing in it. George Clooney does at all moments.
Yeah.
The first name to appear on screen at the beginning,
George
the
Clooney.
first name at the end.
Yes.
I think he's even on the cover of this thing too.
I think so.
And I'm telling you, they have 5 minutes of screen time.
Tops.
But it's a short movie too. It's like an hour and 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess so. The premise of this movie is there's a adult bear and the two cubs get killed by a hunter, and he thinks he killed this other bear. He did not. And then this bear just goes on a rampage. There just so happens to be a massive concert in these mountains. Yeah.
Unrealistic for a state park.
Yeah. This is supposed to be a state park. It's not actually in the U.S. anywhere.
No, it's not.
It's in Hungary. But like, there's like, I mean, it's basically like if you imagined
Woodstock.
what did they say? It's like 28 feet tall or something.
The bear can reach 18 feet in the air or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's a devil bear.
A devil bear.
And so it's like basically if like a giant bear attacked Woodstock in the 80s.
For the last 4 minutes. The rest of it was just shaky cam of a camera operator chasing someone through the woods.
Yeah. And so there's the scene in question with George Clooney, Charlie Sheen, and Laura Dern. They're hiking up a hill. So that's like the first scene. Bear killed. Second scene, bear cubs killed. Second scene is where
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, second scene is where they're hiking up this hill. Going to like, I guess they're just gonna camp for a night or two, and they're backpacking to the concert. I don't know. Don't think about it. But the most ridiculous part of their opening scene is that Laura Dern like has a 2-liter of
Orange Crush just tied to her backpack.
Yeah, just shaking up and she's trucking up this hill
in like sandals and like short shorts.
Yeah,
I don't know if does she have like much dialogue at all? She just kind of complains, and then
I think she has more dialogue than George Clooney does.
That's definitely true, actually. What does he even say?
Well, in the first scene, he's like,
oh yeah. That's
like,
that's how you see the first human character.
That's how you're introduced to him. Is him walking up this hill, just like with like headphones on, just like beatboxing for like the whole first scene.
I'm a scat man.
Yeah. And
And it's just, Yeah, and Laura Dern's there in her short shorts, and Charlie Sheen's there as their friend who helps pick up the garbage or something.
Yeah, something.
I don't know.
None of it makes sense, and you can tell it's unfinished. And you can, I mean, so they die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And
No
you
blood.
sort of get
No attack.
sort of a death scene
Kind of.
for George Clooney and Laura Dern. Like, at least the camera's in their face and they're like, "Wah!"
All right.
But Charlie Sheen doesn't get one.
No.
You just see his body later on, and like it's almost as if just that scene never got shot.
No, there's because like he runs away and he tries to like climb up a hill or something.
Yeah, it shows him climbing the hill, and the camera gets kind of close to him.
And then it shows his arm being dragged away, and he hooks the Laura Dern's sandal with his hand as he's being pulled away.
Yeah, but you
He's
don't
dead.
you get that he's dead, but you don't.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
you don't see it happen, but like by any stretch of.
That's right. You're right.
Like you see it chasing him, and then you see his body getting like pulled away.
Yeah. And then hooking that iconic sandal.
And that sets the scene though for what this movie's going to be, because there's missing footage throughout the whole thing. So like you see that they fill in the gaps where they can with what they can.
But then there's also times where they don't even try to fill the gaps. It's just one scene, other scene immediately.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene with John Rhys Davies where he's setting traps and he's clearly down the bottom of a hill setting a trap. He's like, "We got more to set. This is a good trap." Like he's just there at another trap immediately, and it's just like that's jarring. Because like there's a scene in like the middle of the movie where there's like literally like 3 or 4 minutes of just like nature shots.
Yeah.
And they're just like strung together to like pad the movie out. It's like, couldn't you guys have taken some of those to like do some transitions, separate other scenes out?
Yeah.
Instead of just like smushing it all here in the middle.
It's all smushed right in like that, and it's hilariously done. Because you'll just be sitting there, all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
Sometimes the words don't line up with the mouth too.
A lot of that with the sheriff's daughter there. Sheriff's daughter? Park ranger's daughter?
Park ranger, I think he was.
She's like talking and the voice, nothing matches.
So I guess that's one of the things with the movie is that not a lot makes sense. Because you can tell they didn't finish filming.
No.
They ran out of money before they could finish. And so I don't know if Chrissy was supposed to have
more to do.
A story.
She did not.
But she does not. There's just stuff.
All right, so Chrissy shows up. This concert we're talking about is being set up, and all of a sudden, like the lead security guy at the concert just sees her standing there. He's like, "Hey, you need a job?" She's like, "Sure, I'll have a job." And then they're like, "Oh, it's the sheriff's." I'm gonna keep saying sheriff's daughter. I don't care. It's the sheriff's daughter, and that's it. That's it for Chrissy.
Well, no.
Oh, that's not it for Chrissy. Go ahead.
She gets the famous line. She's like, "You know how to use a phone?" She's like, "What did she say? Both dial and push button."
How can I forget about that, Chad?
Like, what do you mean?
What does that mean?
What is a push button phone?
Well, Pat, I'm pretty sure that it was referencing a rotary phone versus the touch phone.
I guess so. But
it has to be.
The way she said it was so strange, and then it just cuts.
It cuts.
And you've got no time to process anything that happens, and I almost feel like that's intentional. They're like, "Please don't process it."
Doesn't make any sense. That wasn't your line.
Right. Her scene with the runner.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the runner. That was like one of the singers from one of the bands.
But wasn't he running?
He was running, yes.
Yeah, so you're introduced to him as a runner because he's running through the trails.
You're introduced to him as a singer. He's the guy in the when they're so they show the bands rehearsing, I guess.
Oh yeah,
and he's he's got his short shorts, and he's one of the first guys you see.
He gave me extreme Reno 911 vibes with his shorts.
Those shorts were short.
I was like, oh, now I know who he based the character on.
And then later on, just to finish off Kirsty's storyline, it's implied by the lead band manager guy that Kirsty's having a good time on set or at the concert. And there's a random scene where the short shorts man has a Winnebago or something, and she walks out of it, and the short shorts man goes, "Oh, it was a fun time. I'm gonna be leaving soon." And she's like, "What am I, a joke to you?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, and then she just gets like sad, and then the scene cuts.
That's it.
Once again, and it's shot so bizarrely.
So bizarrely.
That like you can't help but wonder like that scene did not need to be there.
No.
Yeah, so there's no deleted scenes. Even with the stock footage, they couldn't hit an hour and a half. So, but I'll say they could have included more stock footage.
Yeah.
To ease the transition of some of these things.
Yeah. To cut back on some of the live performances we had to sit through.
There's so many lines that are strange that like you just can't help but wonder like if only they had more to choose from, this would not have made it. Yeah. So like one that I took note of at the beginning of the movie is the one of the Rangers is walking through as they're pulling the concert goers' bodies away, and he says, "Some people think that bare gallbladders have aphrodisiac qualities."
No one does.
And then they just move on. And then I'm just like, what? Like, what do you mean?
That's not a thing.
But yeah, so they didn't have much to choose from. But let's talk about Jonathan Rhys-Davies for a second.
Best part of the movie, no question, hands down. You want to talk about how he was introduced?
You talk about how he was introduced.
So they talk about this famous trapper, actually grizzly hunter in the area.
Yep.
Named Bouchard.
Bouchard, yeah.
Bouchard.
I think.
Let's go with both.
Bouchard.
So they talk about him, and finally we hear a little bit of his growly voice, and they cut to a scene of the man standing there with like a 2x4 with like an axe head on the end of it. It has the world's worst handle, and he's standing there silhouetted against the backwoods in his hero shot. And what does he say, Pat?
So they're like, "We need you to hunt a grizzly for us," and he says, "I'm finished with grizzlies, monsieur." And it is one of the worst accents I've ever heard. Far worse than I'm even giving credit for right there. But yeah.
It's terrible. He's supposed to be French Canadian, I think, or something.
It's weird because at the beginning they call him French Indian. Okay. And then at the end they say French Canadian. I don't think they know.
I don't think they know.
I don't think the writers know.
But yeah, John Rhys-Davies is there. He picks up a tree by himself and moves it at one point for reasons.
Yeah, and it had such funny like macho vibes to it because like you could see he's struggling with it.
Oh, yeah.
But like he's like, "Bah!" And then like the camera just like cuts away from him and you see just like a giant tree moving, but like without showing him.
Oh, it's a mess. I feel like I want to know the backstory of like, did they say they finished production and the stuff was seized, or was it still in production and the stuff
No,
was
they
seized?
they weren't finished.
That's obvious. Okay, so they were handcuffed to what they have then.
They were lucky that they got to shoot the George Clooney, Sheen, and Dern. They were lucky they got to shoot their scene because apparently a producer came and told the director that day that they were there to shoot that they were out of money, and the director was like, I forget whether it's I think it was the director, was like, didn't tell anybody and just went through the day and shot everything because they were like, well, this is our last chance, you know, so they shot everything they could like that day. Okay. But I think after that everything got seized.
So you think there was more to be filmed then?
Yeah, I believe so. I can't imagine that there's gaps, you know, there's a lot of gaps in this.
They fill it with concerts.
Yeah. There's an excessive amount of concert footage.
And none of it's good.
No, it's all very bad,
very bad. And there's one band from clearly 2020 that was recorded outside and just thrown in there to make the movie even longer. It's so
jarring.
Yeah.
To see this band come in and you're like,
that man's wearing a fedora.
Yeah.
Were fedoras a thing in the 80s?
Some clearly 2020 sunglasses, fedoras, instruments. Like, it is like, you have to imagine that these people paid to be in the movie. I bet they paid.
They had to be.
But they are 100% from 2020 playing a set. And it's just focused on them. It's not even pretending they're on a stage.
They're supposed to be on this giant outdoor stage, and they're in a darkened room is where they are.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's so weird.
And it's like a I don't know. You can see like sometimes they'll cut to like there's this band playing, and then they'll be like, now this band's playing. They played after them. But then like they'll cut back to footage of this band playing, but there's only one stage at this place.
There's
So,
no
like, things are like out of
it's
sequence.
like one band plays like 3 or 4 times at different points of the movie. So there's no way to tell the passage of time by who's playing, because they apparently just ran on stage and played one song at a time.
And it's very funny. Like I can't tell whether these are real bands or not.
I think they may have been. I don't know.
Like it seems real. I don't want to be
the one
harsh.
guy with the happy trail was definitely, I think he was an 80s performer. Completely an 80s performer.
He fit the bill. This band looks like
4 struggling actresses just trying to make a buck.
maybe. But and yeah, so you've got all this interspliced concert footage throughout the entire movie. And then eventually it meets up with the bear story.
At the very last
The
minute.
very end.
Oh, the bear shows up at the concert and immediately goes for the pyrotechnics tent somehow.
Yeah. Basically starts throwing fireworks at people.
And there's one unnamed person. I don't think he was ever introduced in the movie. Just all of a sudden on fire, runs out, and you're like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay. Never see him again. Never see a body. And then the big finale is the game warden, sheriff, whatever he was, with just the weirdest hair. He looked like the guy who played the werewolf in the old school Universal werewolf movies. He had that haircut, and it was so weird. Like I couldn't tell if his hair was fake or just permed up or what it was. It was.
You know what it reminded me of? You ever see Van Wilder when the guy from Chips is there and he keeps going?
Oh
and
yeah,
his hair is like shaking.
Yes, it is that.
And that leads me to believe that his hair is not real.
Happy then.
It looked like a Davy Crockett. Like
It looked like a cap.
yeah.
The big finale is the cop leads the bear to a section of the stage backstage that says "Danger, High Voltage," and the bear follows him, and he dives underneath like a rigging, like a light rigging or something, and then the bear electrocutes itself, and then because during the movie you see like occasional shots of this animatronic bear that they must have tried to use for the movie that probably didn't work too well.
Yeah, I think it's yeah.
There's very few shots of it because it must have just looked terrible. So there's like you just hear growling and like a shadow, and then the lightning bolts flash, and then you see it just laying in the ground underneath some like rigging, and then they're like, "Well, that's the movie."
Yeah, well, the ending shot too. The way it's like, oh my God, is that part of the show? And then the woman's like, yes. And then just like sits down and it cuts and that's the end. And then it's like hype music. Like
that's the other thing too. Like there's a corrupt businesswoman there, politician woman, whatever she was too.
Well, yeah.
And like she has like a sub story, and like usually in these movies, that person gets their comeuppance. Nothing for her.
No comeuppance
at all. She doesn't even see the bear. Other than,
well, that all lends to the fact that like somebody saw Jaws,
yeah,
and was like, make that but with a bear.
Oh, there's clear Jaws ripoffs. Clear. The music at certain points is almost note for note.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where like the Amityville, like with like the one little boy's mother goes in, he goes, "The beaches were closed. You let people die." Blah blah blah. They basically ripped that off verbatim with the sheriff, bouncer, whatever the hell that guy was.
The shots of the bear chasing people, same thing.
Oh yeah.
It's just a camera. Oh, but and that reminded me of the one too where a guy's getting chased, and you can just tell that the cameraman and the director were like, just like go and just roll down hills and jump over bushes and run around corners, and that's the direction they got.
Yeah, and
it's like rolling through the dirt and stuff like.
And then that character like clearly like makes it to like some weird little cave and dives inside, and this bear is supposed to be huge, so he can't reach him.
Yeah,
and then he's just dead in the next scene.
No explanation. He's just dead. Like then we see them removing his body.
Yeah,
and then like that, there's so many jarring things.
There's basically no gore except for like we didn't even talk about the trapper men, the poachers.
Oh yeah,
the only,
weird.
Yeah, weird. weird little sub story that didn't need to be in there.
Remember when they're like dancing around the fire together? Like,
They're supposedly drunk and they're just like circling the fire
yeah.
pit. But yeah, they're in there. There's the one is the one who shot the bears.
We don't see their death scene either.
No.
Once again, just bodies found.
Just a little bit of bloody bodies found.
They did not have any money for any death scenes. Nope. They were like, just go lay down and I'll pour some blood on you.
The one guy falls in the punchy pit, but I think...
Oh yeah, we saw that.
That was the only thing, right?
That was the one that didn't make sense too, because it's
Yeah,
like, wait a second, how did he just die? Did he shoot him, or did the bear hit him, or did he scare him?
Like the bear showed up, and I think his friend shot him, and then he fell in the punchy pit. I'm not really sure.
a lot of sequences.
The bear might have backhanded him in there. We don't really know. But yeah, that movie, I will say, to close, is a great movie to put on like Halloween time and have in the background and have some beers with friends and just let it roll.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to pay attention and you just got to laugh at the ridiculousness.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. It is 100% a movie to watch with people.
Mm-hmm.
And to just have a good time laughing at.
Yeah.
Because so many things are going to happen that don't make sense. And I think it's going to become a cult classic.
I think so too.
I would hope so. But it is one to watch.
There were so many times where I just looked at you and like we just made eye contact and started laughing about the movie itself, and it's just, yeah, it's worth it for that.
Yeah. And there was a lot of rewinding.
That's
like, wait a second. Let's see this again.
The John Rhys Davies at the end where he's just...
Oh, yeah, there's so many things that like I feel like viewers just need to see about this movie.
Yeah.
Just the bands in it.
Oh.
Like they go all out trying to make these. That's why it seems like it would not surprise me if they just filmed local bands.
Like, want to be in a movie?
Yeah. Anyone you
Don't.
want?
That sounds like...
Yeah.
That's not...
So, yeah, I mean, I loved it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely watch it again. I would watch it again right now.
The night is young.
The night is young. All right, everybody. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, man, I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, I guess in closing, please, please, please watch Grizzly II, The Revenge. Or not The Revenge, just Revenge. Grizzly II, Revenge.
Yes.
I feel like The Revenge makes more sense.
Makes more sense.
But it's just Revenge. And go in with an open mind and expect
open can of something.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me this episode. Dan, thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thanks, buddy, for having me.